18th. Sheriff Farley, would you lead us to the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Patney?
Present.
Commissioner Hood? Present. Commissioner Prince? Present. Attorney Clint Smith?
Yes, Clint said he probably would not be here because he's with his sister.
Okay. And clerk to the board, Kelly Camper, present.
Thank you. Do we have any additions or corrections or amendments to the agenda as published?
I do not.
Agenda is approved. Kelly, we have some minutes available.
You do. You should have September 28th,
29.
29th, and October 3rd and 4th.
Let's take them one at a time. September 29th, do either of you have any additions or corrections?
No additions or corrections. I'll make the motion to approve the minutes as recorded.
Received the motion. I have a second for this.
Second.
Moved and second, accept the minutes, September 29th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. October the 3rd.
I have no additions or corrections.
I have no additions.
None either, so I'll make the motion to approve the minutes for October 3rd as recorded.
Second motion.
Moved and second, approve October 3rd minutes. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. October the 4th. I have no corrections.
No corrections?
No.
So I'll make the motion to approve the October 4th minutes as recorded.
Okay. Moved and second. All in, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Audience introduction, please, and we'll start with our administrative assistant.
Brenda Gady, Administrative Assistant.
Jackie Hughes for the Sentinel. Bruce Barr, Wetmore.
John Spar, Wetmore.
Alden Gray, Wetmore.
Courtney Davenport, Wetmore.
Shannon Barley, Sheriff. Larry Weber, SAR.
Sue Weber.
John Johnston, West Cliff.
Ann Hayward, Wetmore.
Thank you very much. Do we have any commissioner items?
I do.
I do also.
Go ahead.
Start? Okay. The Tourism Bureau met yesterday, and I just want to make everybody aware of the fact that they're going to be advertising over a 3 to 4 week period for November 14th as a deadline. The mini grants that the Tourism Bureau supports. And on November 14th is their next board meeting, and that's going to be held at Tony's, open to all the organizations, including nonprofits, that are looking to get on the calendar that the Tourism Board is going to be maintaining as far as events. So we had a good meeting yesterday. Also want to give an update, received an email from Bill Noble regarding the extension agent. They are now receiving applicants, and their last day for admitting an application is going to now be December the 7th, and the committee is in place. So that is in process. Also, I just want to make mention that all three of the commissioners, I'm not going to speak for all three, but regarding last week's budget hearings, I'm going to say I thought we did a really good job of listening and trying to approve most of the requests that we could. We just had one elected official that was a no-show. But other than that, I think the process that we went through was a good one. That's all I have.
I'm just following up on what Donna said. I just really like to compliment the Saddle Club. I got to the budget hearings previously before I was a commissioner also. That's the first time Saddle Club walked up and they said, you know, we put a request in for money, but I don't think we're going to need it. We're going to help you balance your budget. And I just want to compliment them on their frugality and their responsibility with the budget. I have a couple of other small items. One is the airport hangar has been hanging on here forever. I'm so frustrated with it. I'm going to ACE today as soon as this meeting is over. We have 2 estimates of the cost of repairs. I'm going to say to them, let's get it done. We're going to order the materials and we're going to finally get this hangar fixed. I'm sorry this thing has come on so long. Dr. Smith, whose hangar was damaged inadvertently, has been wonderful in terms of his patience waiting for us to get this done. I also met with the Custer County Kids Council since our last meeting. This is a group that helps young mothers and children get a wonderful head start. It's a nationwide program, but Custer County has really jumped on this thing. Butch, is it?
Yeah.
I always want to call it Garmin.
Denim.
Gannon? I always want to call it Garmin, and I'm never there. He's heading this up. They have a hired administrative assistant, and they're moving right along, and things are looking very, very promising. They're getting some state funding, and this is going very well. I have on the agenda the account balance that we had, and when we get to that, I'll discuss it. Other than that, I've dealt with all of my areas of responsibility. Other than that, I've done. That's it.
Thank you. It's been kind of a busy 10 days. I want to elaborate just a little more on Saddle Club. Folks, you saw on our grant monies we have for recreation, we had 39,000 requests and only about 32,000 available. The Saddle Club was the last on the list. They got down to it, and the president stood up and he says, in light of all the other issues that have come up and the needs that have been expressed for this money, he says, we wish to withdraw our $5,000 request so that money may be spent elsewhere and we feel would be better suited. So that's the first time I've ever heard anybody walk up and say, you know, somebody else needs it more than me. That's work on it. I thought that was very commendable. Attended the 4-H Awards banquet, and we had a afternoon meeting, excellent awards, I thought excellent program. Last week of Friday, went through the Action 22 legislative meeting. This is, as you know, the lobbying group that covers the south and eastern portions of Colorado. It's the 22 counties. I thought it was a very, very strong meeting. We talked about a lot of things, all the way from the opioid epidemic that we're facing to political issues, a whole gamut. Congressman Scott Tipton was there. As a matter of fact, you're all kind of serious. I'm going to give you a little chuckle this morning. We started at 8:30 in the morning, and we went straight through. And this is now about 8:30 at night, and we finally had our dinner. And they passed me on a couple of awards, and they go, I'm going to sneak out. So as I got up and started going around the back of the room to sneak out, Congressman Tipton said, well, I want you to know him as many times he's been in Custer County, and all of a sudden I heard my name called. And he said, Bob, where are you? Well, he caught me sneaking out towards the door. And I said, well, I couldn't see you. And I said, well, that's just because I've been on a diet. But I was kind of embarrassed. But he's very encouraging. He's got a group working. And I've already done some things with Gardner and Bennett's offices on getting some more equipment up here. They have been in touch and have rattled the cages of the Army Corps of Engineers and also Bureau of Reclamation. Well, it's a small item, but we are still fighting to get some measuring equipment up here on Carscroft. You know, we passed this last year, we made it through it, but that's going to guarantee next year that we will still have some ranges up there. So I was very encouraged that he said, well, this is something that we should be doing. And that's about it, I guess. For the time being, South Hartscrabble will remain closed. There's one place up there that a gulch come down from the south, completely filled across the creek, clear over to the roadside on the other side. And that's probably, on the roadside, it's just, comes down at an angle. But there's a lot of rock and dirt that will have to be moved. The road has been diverted, the creek has been diverted right down the road. Now that will probably be fixed, but it's not going to be fixed for a long. Forest Service still feels there's going to be some more issues up there, rather than go in, because they were doing some stuff after the fire. And basically what they did, they put in some riprap, and that helped. Some of the water gaps and culverts they put in didn't hold. And they fixed it a little bit, but their attitudes were going to wait and see what next year brings. It still needs to settle some more. They don't feel, now if they would do something that still in jeopardy of some more water coming down and doing additional damage. That's all I have, I think. And we should mention that our attorney is not with us today. Brenda, I would like you to give us some report, please. This is something new we've added, folks. We felt it made sense to have our administrative assistant bring up to date so the audience knows where we are and some things, and then go forth, please.
I just have a couple things. I got a call from a gal named Amber from CDOT, and CDOT does want to have a meeting in Custer County with a bunch of their bigwigs. And we got on the phone, and the only date she had available was December 14th. So if you can pencil that in. She said she would confirm with me later at 10 a.m.
December 14th?
Yep. In the boardroom, so.
And what is the purpose of this?
I think they just want to come and meet with the commissioners and get feedback and give an update.
Wonderful.
I would, I'll put this in our folks, I'll forget it. I'd like to invite either of you two commissioners, if you want to, go with me. We have a regional CDOT Planning Commission meeting, and that is on the, it will be on the 30th. And I'm not sure where we're meeting. I think we're meeting in Florence. It may be Florence or Canyon City. What this meeting is, folks, it's a regional committee that I'm on. We look at all the CDOT projects in a region in Colorado. And this goes all the way from, Colorado Springs, Woodland Park, Park County, up towards Salida, and then kind of east of the Sangres, and they includes Los Animas and Warpino. And they go over what projects that they have planned, what work, what areas they're going to do repairs on, what areas they're going to make improvements on. And it's kind of an involved process. In other words, right now we're trying to finish up a roundabout up there where you go, I think it's up where you go to Triple State out of Woodland Park. But we have two projects scheduled in Custer and Warpino County for next year. One will be an overlay of asphalt from about the airport to the county line. And then the other one is an overlay that goes into Warpino County. I'm still trying to get some answers. The overlay for Custer, there'll be 1 or 2 inch overlay, which is reasonable. And then they put, for Warpino, they put thin. And asking what thin meant. And let's say they could maybe get a little more. This is an aside from my colleagues here, but I was on Highway 69 yesterday from Gardner, between Gardner and Westcliff, and we're starting to see some very severe truck damage. The asphalt's being beat out. You can see where it's being pushed up onto the edge of the paved surface. We have a lot of truck traffic through there, and an issue I'm going to bring up again to them is that we really have to give 69 some attention, because we have a lot more truck traffic on 69 now than we had 10 years ago. And you could really see it. It kind of reminded me of northeastern Colorado, where the boys out there when they're hauling wheat, sometimes they'll put 100,000 pounds on a truck, try to sneak by the scale, and you just see these dips in the traffic lane of the road, and that's what we're seeing. See Shannon shaking his head. That's what we're seeing on 69 right now. So,
You know, I've had some discussions with Captain Smith from State Patrol. State Patrol acknowledges as well, we're seeing a lot of that traffic because they are trying to avoid the port of entries. And so they're coming up through 69 and into town, and they recognize that. I know the problem we have with our State Patrol troop is that Canyon City was originally slotted to have 11 troopers total. And when I say Canyon City, so that covers Park County, covers all that there. They have about 5 right now. And their sergeant just left, so they're really thin. We just don't see what, you guys see us running radar down there all the time. We write a lot of tickets. So,
well, 69 is not the only one, although it's not our headache. Highway 1A, it goes from just below Hillside over to Taxi. Gets the same truck traffic, and it's also getting a lot of use. But that's something we'll, it affects us as a county, and that's something we'll continue to ask questions on, and I think we need to look at it and see what we do to maintain it. That's all I have. Let's see.
I have one more.
Go on.
One more item. I've been working with Donna on the budget conversion from Lotus to Excel, and I think we're really, really close. Yesterday, John Piquette took our printed out budget from Excel and went over it, and we corrected some numbers, and I'm just going through and making sure that all of the formulas are in, and we should be pretty good to go at that point. So
Where we've been in the past, folks, is that financial officer was working with an old system called Lotus. Lotus was last made, I believe, about 1988 or 1989, and it's extremely difficult to transfer his records into Excel spreadsheets, and this is what our financial people are trying to do for us. And once it's transferred, it makes the simple process a whole lot simpler. And again, another step trying to reach forward a little bit. Is that all?
that's it.
Okay, under old business, we have the underfunded courthouse grant and extension.
Okay, I'll speak on that. You should have all received a copy of Wells Squire's letter dated October 9th. We had asked him in our last meeting to revise the scope of work summary, which we need to do to modify the initial grant request. So that now totals $126,239, and that change in the scope of work is a plan design phase document for approximately 15,900 square foot new courthouse facility. So Donna and I will, after this meeting, or not Donna, but Brenda and I will, after this meeting today, modify that grant in the system, and we'll copy everybody, Lisa, Wells, Marty Galvin, so they know that change has been made. And in Wells' letter, he's recognizing that after there's a signed contract, if they receive it by November 1st, they're anticipating 4 months to issue a new 100% schematic design. So the sooner we can get a new contract signed, the sooner this process begins.
What this is that all of you are aware, I'm sure, we have some money to remodel the courtroom facilities in the courthouse. We are one of the 4 least secure court facilities in the state. This is identified by the Chief Justice. And looking at what it would take to just remodel the courthouse. And then as we've gone through further discussion, there's a need for addition improvements and possibly a new facility for our jail. We have the offices, which were an old truck barn that we can still utilize. We have the prisoner pod, which is a block structure that has extremely poor ventilation. We are really cramped for office space, really cramped for places for an attorney to meet with prisoners. A number of issues there, so we're looking at those other two options. We're not making any discussions and any decisions. We just need to get the cost together and see what it's going to be. Some early estimates we had about $1.4 million for the courtroom remodel itself. And as I recall, this is a year or so ago, but we were looking at about, I think, the area of about $5 million for a courthouse. And then we'll be looking at also additional costs for the jail facilities. We're considering putting the jail and the court facilities in one building, like we have in a lot of our surrounding counties, called the Criminal Justice Center, or looking at two separate buildings. We build in phases. The powers to be tell us that if we just go with a court facility, that we do with the court and justice, we get X amount of dollars. If we do just a court facility, we'll still get X amount of dollars from the underfunded courthouses. If we make two separate facilities, we can increase, and NOLA will be able to increase the grant monies that they qualify for. And again, nothing is we're very preliminary stages, folks. I'm trying to decide what makes the most sense economically to go forward. Yes, ma'am.
So you mentioned once the contract is signed, that's the grant contract, right?
Right, we still had $140,000 left to use, and in order to use those funds, our grant needed to be modified with a change of scope.
I want to make sure I understand which contract you were talking about. Thank you.
About 2 years or maybe 3 years ago now, Lynn and I testified before the Judicial Committee in Denver. And at that time, we were awarded a $14,000 contract for the very initial start of things. And then we followed that up with a second testimony, and that was requesting about 10% of the money for planning purposes. And that's where we got this $140,000. Rather than just spend it all on planning the remodel of the courthouse, of the court facility. I can't say courthouse because it doesn't do anything, it's just courtroom, the judges' chambers, holding cells for the prisoners, maybe some meeting rooms for the attorneys. We felt it would be better if we used that money to look at the three options and go from there. Okay, any other comments on this one? Thank you, Donna.
Yep.
Under new business, we have the Custer County Search and Rescue grant signature and discussion. Larry, I'm guessing that's what you're here for.
Always.
Bring your chair with you or just stand whichever you want.
We've
I
got
can
a chair.
stand.
Actually, there's
No, I don't want to sit on that.
No.
They don't want to hear that. Pretty simple. I have a grant application for RETAC. They treated it different this year. I just need you guys' signature. You should have got a copy of this in your
Yes.
packet.
Yes.
I'd just like you to sign the original so we can put that in, and it's $2,500 for training. And the training we do every year, we try to break our group into half where we spread it out. Every other year you're required to upgrade your wilderness first aid. It's way beyond what regular first aid is. We also do regular first aid and CPR. But when you're in the field at 14,000 feet, some of that doesn't work real well. So this is a very good course to put on, and we do it every year, and we try to get half of our members. And it looks like this year, we've gone through a dry spell, and we sat there the other day and joked that we'd like to get members under 60. And it'd be nice because we're starting to get up a little long in the tooth. Well, I think we've had 6 to 8 of them in the past 2 weeks put in applications, and they're actually under 45. Some of us have been at it quite a while, and it gets to be the time that you gotta back off. I know the wife and I went out 3 weeks ago, and we said, that's it. We rode 64 miles in the Greenhorns and some nasty trails that shouldn't even be ridden from the floods and the fires and stuff. And we said, no, we're going back to the office. But that's all this is about. I thought I'd give you a quick report. If you want to go ahead and get somebody to sign this, if you would please, and I can take it with me and I can get that emailed in today. Just a quick report on what that's where we're at. We haven't really come before you for a while. Some things we've completed. We lowered the front door to kind of get ADA accessible. It's been that way for 17 years. I got tired of looking at it, so got the Sawzall, we put it down where it belongs. We remodeled the office and the kitchen. Those were all redone. And we also helped out OEM upstairs getting her office together. We put new lights in all the bays so they're more energy efficient. We had the old type, and if somebody accidentally shut them off, we had to wait 15 minutes to turn them back on. And in our situation, we need them now. So we got all of those replaced between the county and grants, and along with that, we also got the exterior lights done, and in cooperation with Dark Skies, they got us the lights, and we just paid for the electrical part of it to be done. We put up sound panels a couple years ago with grants. I don't know if anybody's been in there. It has helped tremendously. All the guys with hearing aids don't have to take them out anymore because it don't reverberate so bad. And then we upgraded and put all new smoke and CO sensors in that had never been put in a public building. The things we're looking to get from the county here eventually is we need some trim fixed, we need some ceiling repairs, carpet's going to have to be redone. I mean, it's to the point, and we don't feel it's right as SARD just themselves to take this on because it is a meeting room for several agencies. And we still waiting to see some millings or gravel in the parking lot and get it properly graded so we can line the choppers without eating a whole lot of dirt and the prairie dogs taking over and things like that. So we usually don't even have the fire or anybody come over and help us. We just land them. We don't have time for it because sometimes when I call them, they say, well, we'll get to you. And the next thing I know, I get a phone call. He's inbound. He'll be there in 5 minutes. Nobody can react that fast, so we'll go out and they know where to land. They take care of it. And that's the end of it. If there's any questions from the board, I'm here to answer them. If not,
I'd like to explore just a minute the gravel issue. Now, you're wanting gravel for in front of the building or over the foundation?
All the way around it, but particularly out front. We'd like to get that cleaned up. We actually had a guy fall in a prairie dog hole and bang his head, and he's been suffering for quite a while. He's even had surgery on the eye. It created a problem with his eye, but we'd like to get that cleaned up. And like I said, when the birds come in, we a lot of times have to unload. And if you got fine dirt there, it is everywhere. We've been real good with flight, but if you ever see a Chinook come in, it's not pretty. The courthouse will get dusted.
I can see the dust from my house. So you're wanting what, like pea-sized gravel?
No, I would like something like 3/4 gravel, because if you get anything too small, then that chopper's going to pick it up and wing it. Yeah, we need something heavy, or the roto millings that come off of pavement, that would pack down with time and really set up good. It also keeps the weed problem down because when he lands, he redistributes all the tumbleweeds for the whole area. And we got to keep the prairie dogs down over there because it's really, we fight it every year. And
we've been looking for some road milling for 2 years.
Yeah.
And
they're just not available.
We're reusing them now, where before we used to get them to just load them and haul them off. But let you and I get together with Gary Hyde.
Okay.
So let's sit down and see what we can figure out.
Yeah. Either 3/4, straight gravel. I don't want to go into the sand, the road fill, because that's got some sand in it and that stuff. Yeah, it'll sandblast everything. And we've been.
Can you put together some figures so we have an idea about how many big area we need to cover?
I can do that, and I'll get you another
Well, no,
yardage.
then you and Gary and I will sit down
Yeah.
and decide when to make it happen.
Okay,
He's already going to be filling some of the potholes around the courthouse,
right.
and I think that's a,
I think we just graded that whole area and got it between the sheriff, us, and the courthouse. If we could get in there and do a good grade job and get it to where we can get that water diverted wherever we're going to need to take it, that would be beneficial.
But the key is it's got to be done in conjunction with I've talked to Road and Bridge for over 2 years now about trying to get
I remind
the
you.
drainage and the water fixed so that
Do you get that asphalt fixed?
we did it ourselves, yeah. Yeah,
Those are things that we gotta fix.
we had a useful public service person, so I had a deputy work with them and we fixed asphalt ourselves.
So we have some drainage issues back there, folks. We've got, down the road, we have no place to secure our sheriff's vehicles behind fencing. I think it might impound, and that's another issue that we looked at in the budget. We felt maybe we couldn't quite stretch it this year, but that's certainly got to be an item in next year's budget. But let's get together, and Shannon, if you want to be a part of it, or Chris, or whoever, let's just get together and sit down and kind of lay out what makes the most sense.
Then on a good note, I drove a brand new truck into search and rescue yesterday. After the grant, we had a 50-50 grant due to all the wonderful contributions from the community and donations. We got one that's going to pull the command trailer now and not hiccup and spit and get us up the mountain anyway. But yeah, we brought in a brand new one. I have to take it back in about 4 to 6 weeks for the topper and all the equipment to go on it. And we'll be looking to, so we got really a good fleet going right now.
How many missions have you had this year? Any idea?
Right around 20. But you know that, we say 20 missions, but I probably got 6 of them laying on my desk at home where I go through the throes of getting it all together, and before I punch the button to call people out, I either work it from, we call it an armchair mission, where I work it from home, or I don't have to call anybody out. But some of us, Cindy and I and a couple other people, and that's one of the things I'm doing now. You know, like I said, the age thing, I'm trying to cross-train people and start getting more people in there. And you'll start, if you're monitoring that radio, you'll hear more people on there. It's because we're cross-training and we're trying to get a lot more people involved. That's my whole focus, and what I'm doing right now is it's more teamwork. We're getting teams to do the procedures. We're getting teams to do training. You know, bringing all these people up to that level, and I don't want them to have to go through what I did, just walk in and take over. It's not fun, because some of the trainings, we'd like to have one here next year. It's called Manny's Land Search Operations. It's a big old title. But it's probably the best thing the wife and I have ever taken for really understanding how to work missions. It's 40 hours. It's actual missions, it's actual cases. It's a book that's about that thick. But it gives behavioral patterns and all kinds of stuff. And it really does help. And we'd like to sponsor one here. That way our people, we can get more people here for a lesser cost. It would just be our admissions, because they're putting on one in another week or two over in Pagosa. But the cost to send somebody there is a couple thousand a head. Where here, we could probably train 10 people for $750 to $1,000. So that's what we're looking at. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. The other thing Larry didn't mention is a lot of their missions are involved in high mountain rescues. These guys have got a trail memorized over Broken Hand Pass to get over the folks that fall off Crestline. The second one, I'd like to recognize a person in your community. Ruth Roper has been one of the real horses on search and rescue from down here, and that was very much appreciated also.
Very proud of him.
She's contributes a lot.
She's also training up to be one of our ICs.
Okay, I don't see anything in here that shows that we have a financial obligation to this contract. I maybe would entertain a motion to support the RETAC as a regional emergency group. And Larry, there are what, 5 counties?
Yeah, and they've got it down They've cut it back. It used to be administered by the county. It's now going to be administered on a state level. And there's 15,000 per county for 65,000. And they were going to try to, in talking to Chuck, they're going to try to pull 3 out of that 15 for a regional thing. They decided not to do it yet this year, but next year we'll probably be down to 12 or 13,000. But it's mainly used for training and equipment for emergency services.
And everything is limited under the grants to some type of a first aid, some type of a medical device.
Yes.
I'll make a motion, folks, that we support the Custer County grant in the amount of $2,500, I believe it was,
Yes, sir.
from the Custer County Search and Rescue. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose same sign. And I have both of these. I've got one from Larry that had an original signature. Brenda, and I also signed that one.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll go to the RETAC grant application. RETAC is we mentioned, this regional group. And right now, they're requesting $591.92. And I thought there was an additional grant with that.
There are 2.
And there's another one here for $295.96. Again, this is for emergency services people. In neither case do we have county monies involved. And so I'll make a motion that we approve the 2 RETAC grants for the Custer County EMS.
I'll second the motion.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? If not, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'll sign those later. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the closing of account miscellaneous number 731 for community outreach. I believe it was about 1985 or 87, someplace in there. They got some monies to help people that needed to have some repairs or something done to their homes. They could either take out a loan without any interest, or they also made some grants. This account has not been active since, what, about 91, I think?
And over 20 years.
Every year, we just roll it over. And we found a way now that we can donate that for some community assistance, for like the winter and so forth. And that's what we're looking at doing. And I'll turn it over to Jay. This was his agenda item.
Thank you. Bob's correct. We've been carrying 1,200. I'm sorry. I know I'm not very good at that. This is an item that's been carried over as year to year, as Bob said correctly. It was formed and there was a memorandum of understanding between the county and COG, Council of Government. It has $1,200 in it, and for more than 20 years, that's $1,200 just get rolled. Due to the diligent work of our clerk and recorder, we actually found the original MOU, and it was to assist housing people who didn't have enough money or needed money with help with their heat and that kind of thing. I contacted COG to do loans, and she kind of giggled in her emails to me saying, I hadn't thought about that in a million years. A blast from the past was her actual words. She said they have closed the account on it, we can do whatever we choose to do with the money. So I would like to suggest that we give the $1,200 to the Custer County Affordable Housing Group headed by Wilson Jarvis, and we ask the budgeting process to eliminate this particular line item. It is miscellaneous 731 of $1,200. And I guess I'll make that as a motion if my colleagues would like to agree on that.
Okay, it's been moved. Do I have a second to move account 731, to use those funds to go to affordable housing?
I'll make the second to support. the
Any other discussion? As we looked at it, folks, this appears to be the best way, and this is, it's been sitting there for 20-some years. So let's use it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, now the next item I have is the public comment period.
Can I just address some old business?
Pardon me?
May I address old business for a minute?
You got some more.
Well, with regards to the RETAC board, we have received letters, and Brenda, correct me, did we have a deadline to receive the letters? For
Can't remember, I thought there was, but it's on the 31st meeting agenda.
Okay, so, all right, so we've received some to date, so I just wanted to identify that. All right, thank you.
I think this is the first time I've ever had public comment.
Can I just make a couple points? I don't want to jinx it. I wanted to extend some thanks to Beth Archuleta from EMS. So some of the, you mentioned earlier, the RETAC grant applications. She's helping us out with our AEDs. My office has about 14 AEDs. The batteries, have to be replaced on a regular basis, and then the pads also expire typically every year to 2 years. So she's helping us out and setting up a regular inspection of those AEDs so that they, we don't get out somewhere and need that AED and it not be in good serviceable condition. So she's helping out. She's replacing some batteries with some RETAC money, and I'm leaving that in her capable hands. Seeing as how it's kind of a medical device, and she has a lot more expertise in that. So thank you to her for that. Also, you mentioned the fence. We found out yesterday that there's going to be some Homeland Security grant monies available that are non-matching, so it's fully funded. So we're going to, so Under Sheriff Barr and myself, we're going to sit down, we're going to put together a grant application to apply for some Homeland Security money, about $27,000 to put in a fence there to secure our power panels to the building, our generator, and then to secure the area for access to the communication center, because right now, when we had the facilities assessment, the guy that was heading that up was shocked that anyone could walk up to our power panels and have, with the key to the city, bolt cutters, could break the lock and have full access without any security there. And then also our generator could be easily sabotaged. So that, along with, you got one cinder block wall and you're in dispatch, so heaven forbid that would ever happen, but it is a reality in 2017. So we're going to apply for that. Hopefully we can get those grants and that can be funded through there, and we won't have to worry about that. And then last, I just had a question. We didn't really talk about CenturyLink continued issues today. Does anybody, or maybe you could speak to any updates you've heard from Senator Gardner's office or Mr. Tipton's? I mean, Becky Van Winkle and I keep in contact, and I think it's more, she's been a better squeaky wheel than we have, quite honestly. She gets a little more response than we do, but last I heard, John from Senator Gardner's office was going to be down, and he was going to meet with to talk about that, if you could touch on it. I don't know when that, he said he was going to, and I haven't heard a date on that.
Give me some stuff and I'll also get that from ours on the Tipton's office.
Yeah, I haven't heard from Mr. Tipton at all.
Well, he was supposed to be here last week at our meeting. We had to make a little junket. It was a bipartisan junket to Puerto Rico.
Is there an update on this building?
think the building's updated. Excuse me, Mr. Weaver. Anything, comments?
I don't, do you have a specific? I mean, the building is completed, it's paid in full. I know there have been comments saying that this tribunal has dropped the ball and left it the way it was, which I don't feel is appropriate. We added a lot of things to the building that weren't originally there. We had water seeping in, we put in French drains, we did a lot of additional things that were originally done to make sure that this turned out to be a very successful building. If there's anybody sitting in the audience that wants to tell me what else has not been done that was promised to be done, I'll be happy to look into it. The only thing I know is the wash basin that we have an issue with. Unfortunately, we're going to have to live with what we have. And I apologize for that, but we're going to have to.
I do have a comment, I'm going to make it right now.
Go for it.
We sat here at the last meeting, told you about these things. Nobody on that board told us that this building was already signed off
And paid for
and paid for, and it was
at that time.
at that time. And to me, that's telling us a lie.
I appreciate the comment. We were withholding the final payment until the dishwasher was repaired, and the last thing, I don't really remember what it was. When I got notification that those were finalized, I said it was fine to go ahead and pay that.
Again, I will reiterate, the last meeting we told you those things were complete. You did not, just a minute, sir. You did not tell us that the building was signed off. We were still expecting something to happen. Then we get a piece of paper from you, the building was signed off. To me, that's a lie.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I rest my case.
Any other
So
comments?
let me ask the question then, if we may. Is there anything else in the building that needs to be done before it was signed up?
Sir,
Was there anything that was not done that
the sink is still not done.
The sink is still leaking.
we
That
had?
sink is leaking, there's the slop sink in the mechanical room has not been changed. These were all going to be done by you.
Well, let me explain something to you, okay? The plumber came out to redo the sink. Unless someone tells me the plumber did not do their job properly, I do not know.
We told you this,
And I
sir.
sent-
At the last meeting, we told you this.
That's not going to help any.
Well, and I know it is, but when people lie to me, it makes no sense.
You feel there's a lie, that's fine, you feel what you like. We have put in, when I learned that there was a leak in the sink, I spoke to them, they supposedly sent out a plumber to repair it. Did that occur?
To my knowledge, it still leaks.
Did a plumber, okay, did a plumber come out and if it wasn't repaired properly, I'll have the plumber back out. But when you told me about that, I sent the plumber out immediately, like 2 days later, the plumber was here to repair it. I was under the impression it was repaired since no one has told me anything.
Well, if I may interject here, this is now a county facility, and if we need to do some more fixing.
I understand that. I'm just going back and just saying what happened.
No, I'm not arguing with Jeff. What I'm saying is we still have a need for that.
Yes, we know that.
It'll be a county expense.
That we know, sir.
I told you.
Well, let's have it on the record.
We're not going to be able to replace the slop sink. That was the one they were able to put in. There was an issue with putting one on the ground because of the plumbing system with the water going down. They're afraid it would come back up and it would flood the room. I told them, because if you remember, there was no sink there at all. They had ignored it. And I went back and said, no way, you're putting a sink in there. That was part of the deal. We put the sink in. They talked to me about the problem with the water pressure and the water coming out the bottom. And I said to them, make it the best you can so the folks in Wetmore can use the sink as it's supposed to be used.
That's still not the point. You're missing the point of what happens. I'm asking the board, why would it be that way? At the last meeting, we brought this subject up. No one said that the building has been signed off and now we own it. That would have been simple. You just sat there and said nothing. We gave you the problem. You said you'd fix it. That's not the problem. The problem is, we should have known. We're responsible for this building as a board of governors.
The county is.
The county is accountability, the county is responsible. You told me about the two issues. I did my very best to take care of them. Okay, when I heard they were taken care of, I authorized the final payment on this building. I don't appreciate being called a liar because I do not lie, and I really don't. And no, you stay out of this. I really don't appreciate that. You can say it, and it's going to be in the paper, and John's going to put it all over Facebook. That's fine, but the point of the matter is, I have been as responsible for this building as I possibly could.
Did you bother to ask one of us if it had been done properly?
Did you call me and say to me there's an
Yes.
issue with the building?
Several times, right here.
We called several times.
Nobody
got
has
no response.
contacted me.
Malarkey.
Call me
Before
a
this building was signed off, you were told explicitly. In fact, the last meeting we had, we talked about this, and nobody up there told us the building was already signed off. It's our problem now. Well, I know it's our problem now. I just say what happened.
It's not our problem. If we paid to have that drain put in properly, it's part of the contractor's business to make it work properly. And even then, we have a 1-year warranty on it, okay? What I need to know...
You're still missing the point of it.
Excuse me, I haven't finished. When I need to know that there's a problem, I will take care of it. I have taken care of everything that I can find in this building. I have done the very best I can. If it's not to your satisfaction, I am sorry about that, okay?
I rest my case. I just said sorry.
May I have make a suggestion? We have all the other boards that are appointed to the county commissioners. Give us a report. They either show up physically at our BOCC meetings, and they report. And that really hasn't happened with this board here. I'm going to make the suggestion that that is added to our agenda, and we'll do the outreach from Brenda that will give you the schedule, because we ask for written reports in advance of our meetings. So to me, there seems like there's a lack of communication, and this will be one way to satisfy that need.
Well, there wasn't lack of communication. The last meeting, we reported that was what was still wrong. Now, just let me finish. All I'm saying is, we know it's got to be fixed. But the board did tell us that the building was signed off. We were still expecting something to happen. All of that said, it's done. What's left, we have to do as a county, which is fine. But nobody told us.
That's not correct.
Excuse me, I think we're going beyond.
I think so,
public
too.
comment period.
I did.
Let's make a note of what Jack has said, make a note of what you have, what you
So let
repair.
me just ask, the sink needs to be repaired still, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, and what else?
the sink, as far as I'm concerned right now.
Just the drain.
We got the dishwasher washer fixed.
Okay.
We did that ourselves.
We did that ourselves.
The drain is not draining properly still, is that correct? Okay, I will have that addressed today. Is there anything else?
I'm done.
Thank you, Jack, for your comments. Alden.
It'd be nice to, before it snows, get the telephone wires off the ground and up in the air or under the ground, wherever you gotta go. But they're gonna get scarfed off if you have to plow.
Donna, you've been working on that, haven't you?
The last that I heard that I reported on is that goes through a special contractor with CenturyLink. CenturyLink hires outside contractors. That outside contractor is in Pueblo. And nothing, if you're telling me nothing has been done, then I will contact CenturyLink again. Okay?
Thank you.
Nothing happened with the electric wires yet, has it? Have the electric wires been buried? From the transformer to?
The telephone.
No, I'm talking about the electric
I
lines.
walked back there this morning because I got the email from Clint. I absolutely saw the telephone wires laying all over the place, and I absolutely agree that is unacceptable. I did not see any electric wires, but I'm not an electrician, maybe one of those wires were.
I mean, it was on, they were supposed to have done that, but I never heard if it got done.
Repairs that they apparently have, is that correct?
I don't know if someone
I'll
can
go,
check.
yeah, but we'll walk around the back and look at it.
I just want to make sure, if not, I can follow up on that, so.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say on a positive note, the footbridge that was washed away has been put back up. And I don't know who is responsible for that, but I suspect it was Alden. And I would like to thank him and whoever helped him with that footbridge. It's nice to have the connection between what I call downtown Wetmore, quote unquote, downtown Wetmore with our community building. And I've learned there's quite a bit of history on that footbridge over the years. It's evolved from just stepping stones across the creek to an old plank bridge from the sawmill to what it is now. So
I looked at that this morning and it looked pretty nice.
it looks really nice.
We had volunteers that stepped up and helped with the cost of that.
Can you tell me who?
We had some volunteers who stepped up and helped with the cost of new lumber for that.
Good. Well, I tried to find somebody and I hadn't found any yet, so I was gonna have to donate it myself.
Can you tell me who Alden?
It's all done.
Can you tell me?
Okay, anything else for the board?
There you go.
If not, I will declare, well, I see no reason for an executive session to interview. If there's nothing else for the board at this time, I'll declare us adjourned. Thank you for being here. There's some signs right there down there.